So the back chain of the body, we have this whole posterior chain that from a fascial perspective starts at our eyebrows, goes rolling over the whole back of the body, down the back of our back, our glutes, our hamstrings, our calves, all the way to the soles of our feet. And these are some big, strong muscle groups, the posterior chain of our body. And a lot of times, especially when I've worked a lot with older people, this chain of the body tends to get weak as we age if we don't utilize it. We start hunching over. I'm sure you've all seen this happen with older people where they like kind of walk with a little bit of like, bending forward and don't have the strength in their glutes to kind of lift themselves upright. And, if you've read Peter Attia's book, Outlive, one of the main things that I got from that book is that everything we do today should be training for our 100-year-old self, that we want to cultivate strength and conditioning, mobility for being able to get ourselves up out of a chair, being able to push ourselves up out of a bed, all the things that we still want to be able to do to have a lot of independence as we get old. So, strengthening the back of our body, our glutes and our hamstrings and the back of our spine, the muscles along our spine, very important. So, we're going to do a little work with that today, both in strengthening it, becoming aware of it, but also mobilizing it, getting free in that area too, so that we aren't, just kind of stuck. So there'll be both some flexion and extension through the posterior chain today. So think about when we're moving the connection through from, even if you just feel it from the base of your skull, like where those muscles attach at the base of your occiput, all the way down to the bottom of your feet. See if you can notice the connection in all of these muscles in the back of your body, instead of just isolating, like, I'm going to just use my glutes or I'm just going to use my hamstrings. A lot of these muscles like to work in concert with each other. So let's pay attention to that whole chain as we move today. Okay. All right. So sit up straight and tall and take a moment to get into a comfortable position. Wiggle around a little bit if you need to, see what it feels like to have an upright posture. And one of the things that happens in the posterior chain of the body is our breathing. So a lot of times we think of the front of our body as the ways in which we breathe, the diaphragm and the muscles in the front of our chest or the front of our neck. See if you can pay attention as you're sitting here to all of the what's happening back there as you breathe. And it doesn't take but a little bit of strain in some of those posterior chain muscles for you to recognize how important they are in your breathing. So notice the back body breathe. If you can just pay attention to the ease across your shoulders and through your face, feeling a sense of melting through the base of the skull. And imagine this posterior chain. See if you can trace from the eyebrows up over your head and then kind of just swooping down the back of your head, the back of your neck, all the way down your back to your sacrum, your glutes, the backs of your legs. Gets a little difficult to feel when you're crisscrossed sitting, but sense into that posterior chain as best as you can. And notice when there's a little aliveness back there that the heart opens, that there's a naturalness to losing your slump, losing that hunched posture that so much of the time we tend toward. Fill yourself completely with your breath. Empty yourself fully. Ready, bring your hands together at your heart. And let's have a moment to bow in. Take a deep breath, offer an intention here. Relax and melt the hands. Okay, let's find our way onto our back. All right. So as you stretch out and lengthen the body, pay attention to what part of you is comfortably lying on the ground. Where do you feel the ground underneath you? And then if it feels good, stretch your arms overhead and enjoy this nice, beautiful stretching, lengthening through the sides of your body. A full breath in, full breath away. And draw your knees into your chest and rock a little bit. A little bit of swaying from side to side. And let's hang on to the knees and circle here a little bit. Circling the other direction. And then we'll open up the knees and bring them away from the middle and back toward. All right, hug your right knee into your chest and roll around in your ankles. Wiggle your toes and feel that freedom in your feet. What a nice thing to wake up your feet. Take your shoes off for a little while. Give a good squeeze of the knee and then let's change sides. Full breaths here. Ready to move around, wiggle your toes. And then stretch your limbs wide on the ground, feeling that reach in the body. And then as you exhale, draw your knees in, round the spine and pick up your knees. One more time. Expanding open. Exhale. Again. Put your feet on the ground and let's go ahead and start with some windshield wipers. So as you do this, as you kind of rock your knees from one side, turn your head to the other side. And we're going to deepen into this twist a little bit. Scoot your hips over to the right and roll to your left side. Palms together, knees together, feet together, and take a few passes of opening up your chest, bringing the hand behind you, and then closing. And try maybe 2 passes with your knees staying glued together so you really feel this in your mid and upper back. And then maybe try a couple of passes where you let your knees slide away from each other so you can feel, a little bit more openness through the full spine. And then after you take a couple of passes each side, we'll roll to the other side. And as you come onto your right, same thing applies. Let's start with a couple of passes, keeping your knees together, palms together, and open up, trying not to let your knees separate. Move with breath. And then maybe a couple of passes where you're letting your knees slide. A little more easy and gentle through the spine as your hips get to move with your spine. And then roll back onto your back and reach out to a star one more time, expanding through your body, reaching through your fingers and your toes. And then exhale, draw your knees in and roll to your side to come up onto your hands and your knees. As we find all fours, ground yourself, and cat cows are a wonderful way for us to really mobilize and open up a lot of that, our whole spine really. But pay attention, to the compression of the back body as you arch your back and lift your chin. And then the openness, push the floor away and spread your shoulder blades and feel the back of your body expand. Remember to let your pelvis tilt fully. Remember to let your head move fully. The full spinal movement. And if you ever, get a rib slightly out of place, sometimes this is enough just to do some cat cows to kind of feel your way into that mobility. All right, and then feel free to move around any way you want. So take some time here to notice what part of your spine really needs a little bit of dedicated uh, work to open itself up. Are you breathing? And then settle back toward a child's pose when you feel ready. Reach those arms out in front of you and start to feel your shoulders stretch open. You can extend as long as you'd like. All right, and then we're going to walk hands over to one side or the other. And of course, we often feel this in our shoulders and our lats and our ribs, but see if you can also feel it right along your spine. See if you can notice that arc that happens right at your spine. And then come back to center and inch over to the other side. Feeling some weight come down into your hips, open through your rib cage. And see if you can notice those little muscles along your spine. All right, come back to center. Up onto all fours, move around again. And let's find our threading twist. So reach the arm up in the air. Exhale, drop that arm underneath and twist. Press the other hand into the ground. And then inhale, bring that arm all the way back up in the air. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's switch sides. Arm up. Exhale, slide that arm down. Breathing deep. And then when you're ready, we'll lift that arm all the way back up in the air again. Hand comes down onto the ground. Let's find a dog pose. All right, so as you come up, take some time, pedal your feet, open up the backs of the legs now. We've felt our spine open up and the um, back of our spine open up. But let's see what it feels like now to open up the backs of our legs. So take some time. You can slowly or quickly pedal your feet. Get the bottom of your feet to wake up. See if you can hinge at the toe joint a lot so that you get a lot of openness in the feet. And then maybe once you're ready to be still, spread the toes, reach the heels away from the toes, let the bottoms of your feet open up, spread all the bones, and then lift all the way through your calves, all the way through your hamstrings up to your sit bones. Push off your hands and move your femur bones back. Feel the full body extension. This is such a great back body lengthening posture. And let's round the spine forward, come to a plank. Start holding a sense of steadiness here. Feel your shoulder blades on your back. Engage through your legs, your core, your glutes, your spine. And then back to a dog pose again. Maybe some more pedaling if you'd like. Right, and then when you're ready, walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana. A deep forward fold. Blocks are nice if you like to have them. And feel that extension in your spine wobble a little bit so you can kind of shimmy and feel that release in your spine. Inhale for a halfway lift, extending. Maybe hands are on legs, maybe they're on the blocks. And then exhale and fold. Again, opening up the backs of the legs. Now push through your feet and find your way all the way up. You can press up or roll up, see what feels better in your spine. Be very careful. If you're a roller upper, that tends to be a little bit more aggressive for your vertebrae. Okay, reach the arms up in the air. Let's lean back here and open up through the chest. Cactus your arms. Feel a little strength back there in the back of your body. Inhale, lift your arms up. Let's interlace your fingers a little bit. Just hook your thumbs or your index fingers, palms facing forward, and then reach back a little bit, just the littlest bit of back bends. And then exhale and relax the arms down at your sides. Let's do some shoulder shrugging while we're here. So some rolls back. We do this often when we're on the ground before a cobra pose. Let's do it standing. So some just big rolls through our shoulders so we feel our shoulder blades. And then go the other direction. Rolling your shoulders forward, recognizing that it's not just about strength, but it's about mobility too. So we want to keep mobile in our shoulder blades. All right, relax that for a moment. And now we're gonna keep your arms down and we're gonna do one shoulder at a time, rolling back. So a little rotation, as if you're doing like backstroke in the pool without your arms. Breathing deeply, shoulders up, back, and down. And then go the other direction. Roll the shoulders and let your rib cage move a little bit and let your spine twist. Okay, now reach the arm down and reach the arm down. Okay, so just kind of our elbows lifting up. So we're getting a little spinal twist in there. All right, and come back up. Give your hands a good shake. All right, inhale, arms up to the sky. And then let's interlace your hands behind your back. Open up across your chest. Open up through the fronts of your shoulders. We don't want to forget about our front body. You can always use a strap like I'm doing if need be. Open up and then bend your knees and lift your arms away from your spine. Feel the heads of the arm bones stretch open. Melt your neck. Bobble your head. Feel free to move your shoulders around while you're here. And then release your hands from their clasp and let them hang down. Grab your elbows. Okay. See if you can let gravity help you with this. And you can take your legs comfortably apart. Have your hands grasp on the elbows and kind of tug a little bit so there's some gravitational pull. Breathing well. And then release your hands and come to a halfway lift. Extending the spine. Exhale and melting. One more forward fold. This time, grab your hands at the base of your skull. Base of your hands at the base of the skull. Drag down toward the ground and tuck in. So letting there be a little bit of drag through the spine. And then release your hands. A halfway lift. Extending the spine again. Exhale. Fold. Let's step back to a dog pose. Long spine. Are you starting to feel warmer in your body? Ground through your hands and your feet. Let's come forward into a plank again. Holding yourself sturdy. Shoulder blades down the back. Integrate the whole 360 of your core. Wrapping around your sides, back and front. All right, we'll put our knees down and find the ground. Take a deep breath in, a cobra pose. Open chest. Exhale and melt to come back down. One more time, shoulder blades down. Inhale, lift up. Feel your back help. It's not just pushing your hands into the ground. Relax. Come up onto all fours. Give your spine a little wiggle, a little sway. And then we'll bring our right foot forward to come to a lunge. You can put your hands on blocks. Let's lift the knee up off the ground. Open up through your chest. Let's bend and straighten the front knee. Just feeling our way into that extension of the hip flexors, but also the extension of the hamstrings and the calves and the glutes. And maybe when that leg straightens, lift your toe and tuck your chin. Be very mindful that the blocks are high enough to keep that long, spacious spine as you straighten that front leg. And then ground yourself. Push through your feet. Inhale, rising up, arms coming to the sky. Find your breath. Crescent lunge. You can always have your back heel down for support if need be. And let's open up. Cactus the arms, feel the back body, and then we're going to push away. Inhale, coming on up. Cactus. Push away. This third time we're going to stay. So decide, maybe it would be better for you to have your arms at your sides. That's a little more stable than arms overhead. So you can also have your arms out to the side. So kind of choose your path. Back body's working, ribs lifting up, core is engaged. Press into your feet. Shoulder blades away from ears. And then release your hands down, back foot comes forward, Uttanasana. A halfway lift again. Melt and fold, step your other foot back, left is in front. Hands on blocks, open your chest. Let's start to bend and straighten as you go. Notice keeping the hips square, keeping the spine long, keeping the breath well moving. When you straighten your leg, perhaps you want to lift your toes and tuck your chin, but only do this if you can maintain the square hips and the long spine. Drop that femur bone down and back as you straighten that leg. All right, ground your legs, push your feet into the ground. Inhale, come all the way up. And perhaps, you can always vary everything. If your shoulders are bothering you, you can do this pose with your hands facing forward, arms down, and still be engaging the back of your body. It doesn't have to be an arm overhead pose for the back body to engage. Root into the feet, press that front foot, engage both glutes. And let's open up, cactus the arms, and then press away, leaning forward, press into that front foot. Inhale, rise up, cactus arms, press away. Feel your legs and your core supporting you. Inhale, up. This next time, decide whether you want to have your arms back or out or forward. Lengthen your spine, knit your ribs in, use your legs. Heads of the arm bones are engaged, whether they're up, out, or down. Feel the engagement through your shoulders. And then release your hands down. Dog pose. Step that front foot back. Big breath here. Let's come forward into a plank again. Feel your core wrap around your whole torso. So it's not just navel to spine. It's your side ribs and your back body and your shoulder blades and your glutes, your inner thighs. So much muscular support. Okay, let's find the ground. Take your hands as if you're coming into a cobra pose. You can also have your hands slightly forward if that's more comfortable. Just find a place where you can maintain keeping the shoulder blades down the back. Now, before we lift anything up, engage your legs, engage your glutes, engage your core. Feel some strength to support you. And then inhale to lift up with no hands. So we're not just falling into the ground and relying solely on our back. We have our glutes and our legs are pressing into the ground to help us. Breathe. Neck is long, shoulder blades down. Exhale. Put your hands underneath your head, pick up your feet, and windshield wiper your knees left and right. All right, if you're comfy, put your arms overhead. You can always do this with your arms down at your sides. If your arms are at your sides, palms are facing the floor. Take a deep breath. Now imagine that you're trying to create like your body like a board. So ribs in, and you might even imagine that you can press your hands as if that your hands are on a floor, like you're doing a handstand. So feel the back body, the core, the glutes, the legs, everything's helping. And then relax, melt a little bit. Now face your palms toward each other if your arms are overhead. If they're back by your sides, palms are facing down. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Feel that work? Kind of like bird dog. Make sure your core is helping. Exhale, release. Switching sides. Use your glutes. Feel your hamstring. Point your toes. Your calf even helps. Knit the ribs in. Keep your neck long. Exhale and relax. Now let's do this just with a little bit of speed attached to it. So there's just kind of like left, right, left, right, left, right. And you can have your arms down at your sides or over your head and think less and just feel your body. Keep breathing, keep your neck long, look down. See if you can feel that whole posterior chain. What's missing in your loops? Okay, find places that might be missing. Exhale and relax. Put your hands underneath your head, pick up your feet, and windshield wiper your knees. All right, come up onto all fours and just wiggle your spine around, maybe a cat-cow, to see what's going to help you relieve some of the tension from that whole back line. Notice where you felt that. Okay. All right, we're going to come down. We'll go back up and do a couple more standing poses, but for now, let's just come down onto your back. Okay. We're going to move toward a bridge, but first, before we do that, we're just going to do some work on the multifidi, those small muscles that engage one vertebrae, hold one vertebrae to the next. Okay, so really important spinal stabilizer muscles. So we're going to drop our pelvis into the ground. Feel your feet. Drop weight into your pelvis and imagine that you're sticking your tailbone, your whole sacrum onto the ground and dragging it up toward your shoulders. And then relax. Maybe a little posterior tilt of the pelvis, tuck your tail a moment, and then drop that sacrum back down. Press it into the ground and drag it toward your shoulders. And what do you feel? What muscles along your spine can you ripple up the spine? And then relax. Maybe a tuck tail, maybe a little lift. And then last time, press your sacrum and your tailbone into the ground. Drag it toward your shoulders. Don't let your shoulders move. Let them move toward your hips, if anything. Feel all those little muscles along your low back. And then relax. The multifidi go all the way up your spine, from your base of your skull to your sacrum. Really good, important muscles, and we use them all the time. All right, so let's find the fullness of our back body here. We're going to come over your pelvis up off the ground for a bridge, just very low, a couple inches off the ground, and press your feet into the ground. And start to just feel that you could just hang here, right? You could not engage your glutes. But what would happen if you engage your glutes and engage your hamstrings? Can you feel all the support systems? And then lower back down. We're going to lift up into a full bridge and try to sense so much support from the back of your body. So as you root the four corners of your feet, let's lift up, climb onto the tops of your shoulders, put your arms in the position that you like best, and then ground four corners of feet again. And feel your leg muscles hug onto the bones, engage your glutes, engage your hamstrings, engage your back. Drop your shoulder blades down your back. Hug your heels toward your shoulder blades. Feel the fullness of your back body. Press your arms into the ground. And then don't forget about your quads. Push your feet away, hug your feet toward each other, find some other muscles. Big breaths. And then release and relax. Soften your body to the ground. Maybe windshield wiper your knees left and right. Really, bridges are a great back body pose. You know, it just engages the full line of the back body. It's a wonderful thing for us to do in our bodies. It opens our breathing and our heart. It gives us a lot of stability in our pelvis. We work a lot of musculature in our body, and it's usually pretty safe. It's hard to kind of hurt yourself. So let's enjoy one more. Ground the four corners of your feet. Lift your pelvis up. Notice if your pelvis likes one side more than the other for lifting. Same with your shoulders. Climb onto the tops of your shoulders. Does one do that more easily than the other? Press your whole arm. The backs of the arms are in the ground. Palms are up. Press your whole arm from your fingers to your shoulders into the ground. Keep your neck neutral. Open up your shoulders. Feel the back body. Press your feet into the ground. Feel your hamstrings. Feel your glutes, feel your back spine, but also feel the groundedness of your four corners of feet, the working of your breath, the engagement around your femur bones. Relax your hips back down onto the ground, flat back, neutral spine, and let's go ahead and rock your knees left and right. Breathing deeply. All right, so let's go ahead and roll to our side and come up to stand. You can move through a dog pose, or you can just stand up, however your favorite way of being is. I'm gonna come into a chair pose once you're up there, and so I say it so you can get prepared. So if your knees bother you, I would recommend a block between your thighs. If your knees are okay, maybe no block, just see where you're at. Okay. And let's start with our arms down at our sides so we can feel our legs first, and then we'll add the rest of our back body in. So feel that deep rooting of your feet. Squat down. Feel your legs. Okay. And then imagine that we're not picking anything heavy up, but imagine that you were. What would be the muscle chains in the back that would help you? I know your feet are not in a good stable place for lifting if they're together, but just imagine. Press into the feet and feel the backs of your legs. And then come up to stand. And now we're going to add some arms into our chair. So bring yourself back into the chair. And first, just bring your arms out in front of you. Draw your shoulder blades back. Sink down a little bit. Draw your femur bones back and your shoulder blades back. Press into the feet. Engage your glutes and your hamstrings. Slowly start to lift your arms and notice the whole back chain. Try not to float your ribs forward. Knit them in. Extend your arms up. Draw your knees back into your hips. Press into the ground as if you wanted to stand up straight. And then inhale and push to stand. Relax your arms down at your sides. Okay, let's take a wide stance for a moment just to open up our legs in this way. Elbows inside your knees. Okay, you can rock a little bit, moving from side to side. Press into the ground. And then come on up to stand. We're going to do 5 squats, both with our legs wide, and then we'll do 5 with our legs closer. All right, so notice, I want you to go slow here. So we're going to come down like a goddess pose and come on up. And I want you to pay attention. Obviously our quads are going to be involved in this, but see what it feels like to use the backs of your legs, press your feet into the ground, see if you can feel the inner thighs and the hamstrings and the glutes kind of be in charge of this movement. I forgot to count, so let's do 3 more. Okay. Squatting down and pushing back up. Breathing well, upright spine. We're not leaning over, we're not hinging forward. Okay, one more. Great. Now bring your legs a little closer. Okay. And I never do a squat with my feet totally hip width. I always have them a little wider. There's so many different viewpoints on how to do squats. Find what's comfortable. Okay, so just put your legs in a place that's comfortable. And if you have a knee or a hip or an ankle or something that doesn't like squats, and you tend to kind of go into one side or to the other side, try to go so slow and not very deep so that you can give weight to the places in your body that don't like to take it. Okay, breathing. Let's bring our palms together and then slowly stand up. Where's your breath? Where do you like to inhale and where do you like to exhale? No matter how far in you go, see if you can notice the backs of your body. Your quads are going to be working, but can you feel your hamstrings and your glutes and even your calves help you to push yourself up? Imagine you're a 100 and here you are in a chair and you want to get up. Okay, so pushing yourself straight. Let's do one more. Upright spine. Relax for a moment. Just pay attention as we stand upright. Maybe go into an exaggeration of a slumped over posture, no core, no, your chest is collapsed, our legs are locked. And notice how the back body just has to do nothing, right? And then change that, push into the ground, open your chest, turn your palms open, unlock your knees, a little micro bend. Feel how the back of your body can open and expand and engage so that we're not just slumping and relying on locked out postures. Okay. Inhale up onto your toes, reaching the arms to the sky. Feel that posterior chain, engage your core. Exhale, heels back down. We're going to do 4 more like that of calf raises. Remember, your calves are very much a part of that posterior chain. So don't worry if you're wobbly or if your feet don't let you do much. Just do what you can to come up onto the toes and back down. So breathe as you go. Maybe you can feel the whole back chain here. Maybe your calves are just talking loudly to you. 2 more. Inhale, practice that balance. Find your drishti gaze. Comes down, heels to the ground. 1 more. Come up onto your toes, breathing. And then exhale and lowering back down. Okay? Again, just stand in Tadasana and enjoy. Notice how alive the back of your body is. Now imagine you have eyes all over the back of you. Imagine that that's where you saw the world through, was through the back of your body instead of the front of your body. Imagine if you had all the body awareness that you have in the front, that you would have that in your back. Sensing of the world and moving through space. Now, just the shoulder shrugs we did earlier, we're going to do a full arm movement. So imagine that you're doing some backstroke, but kind of exaggerate it. Maybe, a little deeper into your twisting. You just sense a lot of mobility in the back of your body, a lot of awareness back there. Here we are bringing our arms back there and sensing what's behind us. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, a long hold forward. Let your back open. Inhale for a halfway lift. Melting to fold. Step all the way back, a dog pose. A long spine, opening that back body up. We've got one more strong back body thing to do. Come forward into a plank. Holding yourself steady here, integrating. Shoulder blades down the back, core 360. Let's find the ground. Now, there's lots of choices in this pose. I'm going to demonstrate Dhanurasana, but you could do a full back bend right now, get on your back and do a full wheel pose. You could do what I'm going to do, or you can do any other back bend. Okay, so that, find kind of like a culmination of all the sequencing that we've done to wake up the back of our body. So if you're following with me, grab onto your ankles. This is one I'll cue, but all the cueing is pretty much the same. Pelvis is stable, tailbone down, pubic bone up, shoulder blades down, knees in line with hips. Take a deep breath in and lift yourself up. Let your diaphragm rock your body. Breathe deep. Keep your neck long. If you're in a wheel pose, push into the ground. Lift yourself up. Long tail toward your knees, no matter what back bend you're doing. All right, and then relax. Hands underneath your head. Windshield wiper your knees. Breathing deeply. Let's put our feet down. We'll bring our left knee up high toward your armpit and look at your knee for a moment and let your back get soothed by this. Low on your forearms. And then we'll thread the needle. So right arm threads underneath you and spin open to a twist. And just let your body relax in this. You can let your knee leave the floor as much as you need so the back of your hand can come and rest on the ground. Breathe well. Full inhale. A full exhale. Spin back around. Let's bring that other knee high toward your armpit. Take a look at your knee. Breathe deeply. And then when you're ready, let's thread the left arm underneath and twist open. Full breaths. Remember, the breath is part of that back body. Breathe deeply. And come back around. Let's come up to your hands and your knees and move your spine around. And then let's go ahead and find child's pose. Take your arms down at your sides and let your back body soften. So we're getting into, opening the back body up now instead of engaging. See what it feels like to just expand. Sometimes I like to put my hands on the small of my back, palms up, and let my elbows descend. Just see what feels good in your shoulders and in your back. All right, well, come on up. Now let's lie down on our back and we're gonna grab a strap. We'll do a Supta Padangusthasana sequence. All right, so lying down. Let's start with our left foot on the ground. Take the strap in around your right foot and lift that leg straight up in the air. Now, the beauty of being on your back is your spine gets to melt and extend. So feel that it's not just about your hamstrings that are stretching open here, but your glutes and the whole back line of the body. Tuck your toes down toward your face and lift your heel up toward the sky. Root the femur bone deep into the ground and take your thigh bone back. Extend your spine. We'll take the strap into the right hand and open it up out to the right and open up through the inner bones. I have my left knee bent and I'm letting my left leg kind of fall, my left knee fall out to the side, but maybe you'd rather have your left leg straight on the ground. So just find the pathway in your body that this posture works best in. Round the left side of your body. Open up those inner hamstrings. And then we'll lift that leg straight up. Take the strap into the left hand. Cross the right leg over to the left for a twist. Drop your right femur bone away from the shoulder, stretching through your glutes, those outer hip muscles, your hamstrings. All right, and then when you're ready, lift that leg straight back up in the air. Let's take time for 2 legs in the strap. So settle those 2 feet in, drop the femur bones down, lengthen the spine. Big breaths here. A lot of the strength that we built today, if we were sitting doing this pose where our legs were out on the ground in front of us and we were sitting with an erect spine with our arms overhead, that's hard to do for a sustained period of time. Everything we just kind of cultivated today works toward that. So no, we're not going to do it, but just notice it here, that you have this integrity in your torso. All right, let's keep your left foot up and put your right foot on the ground or your right leg on the ground. We'll do Supta Padangusthasana on this side. Toes, I mean, you can have a moment of pointing your toe if you'd like, or rolling your ankle, or pointing, or whatever feels good. But then make sure you take a moment to bring your toes toward your face and lift your heel. Thigh bone back and down. Spine is spacious. Enough give on the strap where your shoulders are relaxed. We're not, pulling your neck or shoulders up. Full breaths. Let's take the strap in the left hand and open up out to the left, anchoring the right side of your body, whether your leg is straight or your knee is bent. Melt your head. Relax into this. Now lift that leg back up, take the strap in the right hand and cross the left leg over to the right. Stretch through your foot, lengthen out through the big toe and the inner heel so we're not collapsing the inseam of our leg. A little inner spiral, a little femur bone away from chest. Full breaths. Leg back up one more time, 2 feet into the strap. Feel that extension. Drop your tail, dip it a little bit. Feel the femur bones drop down, lengthen through your spine. All right, let's release the legs from the strap and come into happy baby pose. Grab your feet. You can rock here, you can be still. Let your low back open. Breathing well. And put your left foot on the ground, right foot on your left knee, and come into reverse pigeon pose. Breathing well. Hold on wherever you want. Again, if movement feels good, you can circle a little bit or rock side to side, or you can be still. All right, put that foot onto the ground and let's switch sides. Left foot on right knee. Hold on where you want. And breathe. Relax. Bring your knees together. Put your feet down and relax for a minute. One more pose to do, and then we'll find Shavasana. So take a block. You can do this with a rolled blanket instead if you'd like. Might be more soothing with a rolled blanket. So you have so many choices in this. You can do park bench with 2 blocks the same height, or the one under your head a little higher height. You can take a rolled towel underneath your spine and rest, or a rolled blanket and rest on it. You can take any variation of a heart opener in this way. Okay, so find where you want the blocks or blankets, how you want your arms and your legs. There's so much variety of what to do here. Let it be passive. So whatever you're finding, make sure your body is really happy with it. A classic park bench is, never a bad thing to do. But of course, if the rolled towel back bend is a little more soothing, that's a great thing as well. Okay, so you can bend your knees, straighten your legs. You can take Baddha Konasana legs or knock your knees. You can do anything you want with your arms. Okay, so just sense into what's going to give you a sense of passivity in the openness across your heart. If you're very happy, stay longer. And if you're ready to kind of prepare your body for Shavasana, you can do that too. I would recommend a little rocking plow, a little twisting from side to side, a little something to release your spine. So just kind of figure out what your body needs to be ready for Shavasana. And then, as always, remember when you get there to be warm, to not have bright lights on you, to be at ease for your Shavasana. So remember to nourish your body. Like I said, some rocking. If that feels good, you can kind of hang out in a little bit of a tucked in plow. Whatever feels nice in your body. Okay, and then when you get to Shavasana, is there something you need? Sometimes having support under your head or your knees can be helpful. You can put your calves up on a couch if you want, or a chair. You can do leg up the wall pose. Heck, you can do a child's pose over a bolster for Shavasana. Lots of choices. If you are ready, just let your body find its relaxation and the melting. So important to let everything rest. So now imagine that line from your forehead draping down across your skull, letting the whole back body drip into the earth. There's nothing to hold or guard or protect. Feel the back of your body on the ground. Feel your breath move through you. Relax everything you can. A deep breath and melts your body, your whole body on the exhale. And invite some movement. Whatever feels good to you. Maybe finding a little bit of cat-cow on all fours before you come to sit, if that feels nice for the back of your body. You come upright, let's just enjoy how supportive our back body is for us. Let's have a little bit of gratitude for everything that lives back there. Okay? We don't pay attention very much. We don't see it. We don't touch it. Let's bring our hands together at our heart as you find an open heart. Let's offer our energy. Send your open heart to another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.